We're checking out people who got fired. They exposed the reasons why, and I'm intrigued. Have you ever been fired? Did you deserve it? Or was it a reason that you should not have been fired for? You know? Tell me. You know you want to. Tell me in the comments. I wanna read them. Maybe I should put some people's stories in my videos. Like anonymously. Like I would not show your picture or your name. That would be fun. I was working for a small family-owned restaurant. All the wait staff and most of the kitchen staff has family or friends with the owner. I was hired as a waitress and I did okay. Not great, not terrible. It was my first time being a waitress. One day, one of the regular customers came in who's a bit of a local celebrity. He apparently came in once or twice a week and tipped very well. Normally, the owner's daughter would take the table, but she was out sick, so I took them. I got an amazing tip from him and he told the owner that he would like me to wait on them if I'm available in the future. The second he left, I was fired. Envy is an ugly thing. Jealousy, because you were getting the praise and their daughter wasn't getting the praise. I mean, I'm sorry you got fired, but just know that you did a great job and it was because you did such a great job. I came back to my summer job at an amusement park from missing 3 days with strep throat, handed in my doctor's excuse, and was fired for missing work. Apparently, to call off, you couldn't just talk to a manager, you had to talk to the department head, a person I never met with, a phone number that had never been made available to me. Because I missed more than 2 days, it didn't matter that I had a note because I was considered a no-call/no-show. The assistant manager I gave my excuse to handed me a letter back that said I had 10 minutes to clean out my locker and vacate the premises, or they would call the cops for trespassing. Well, isn't that aggressive? I was 16 in a state with very liberal employment laws and my mom retained a lawyer. I didn't win any money, but they ended up having to list me as rehireable in their system and they paid a huge fine for essentially making it impossible for employees to call in sick. Y'all, I was gonna say something smells fishy. Like that didn't seem legal to me when I was reading it. I'm like, that is not how it works. I was 16. Why are y'all 16? Like everyone in these stories is 16. I was 16 and working as a dishwasher at a summer tennis camp at an exclusive tennis club. The owner of the club was upset that I hadn't taken all the trash out. Honestly, am I the only one who like thought tennis clubs were like just in movies? Oh, excuse me, I'm just going to the tennis club. What? Where are those? Where are tennis clubs? I've never even seen a location of one. The owner of the club was upset that I hadn't taken all the trash out. I explained to him that the dumpster was full and overflowing. He told me that I needed to climb into the dumpster and jump up and down on the trash to create more room in it. I said that I wouldn't do it. He told me that he wouldn't ask me to do anything that he wouldn't do himself. So I said, fine. I want to see you climb into the dumpster and just start jumping up and down. He fired me on the spot. I would have said the same thing. Sass gets you fired sometimes. One of my first jobs was working for this bucket telesales operation. We were selling long distance plans. They would change the fee structure and resell the same plan under a different name to the same customers. I went 1 week top of the sales chart, weekly bonus. Next week I was at the bottom. This was the second or third week out of the training program as well. Ranking came out, they pulled me into the office and canned me for poor performance. I always thought it was because I walked in on them pulling names and numbers from different state phone books. They didn't have my final check ready that day. Next Monday, when I called in to make sure they had it, someone I didn't recognize answered but told me to come down for my check. Turns out they got raided for that whole scammy plan bit. I had a brief interview with an FBI agent. They handed me my final check and that place got closed down. Apparently I missed out on a who crazy entry scene when they came in the front and the back to grab the management team. I mean, it was sounding a little bit scammy. First few sentences, I'm like, red flag. Not me, but my brothers. He was valeting at a fancy beach club over the summer and they hired a new kid from the area. The first car this new hire gets into, he backs into another car. My brother takes him to the side, tells him to calm down. The beach has insurance for this very reason. It's no big deal. Second car, he runs right into a parked car, which causes that car to smash into the one parked in front of it. My brother gives him $50 cash for the day of work and tells him not to come back. Well, That's understandable. That's understandable. Was fired on the spot because my husband had quit their sister company the day before. Ooh. He had turned all of his work assets in, including his company computer and phone. Only he reset the phone since it was under our iTunes account and removed all his personal items from his work computer. He left things pertaining to this actual job. They flipped out. How dare he remove anything from their property? They ended up coming to my office the next day and fired me on the spot because I was his wife and I was just as guilty. ETA, not illegal. I live in a at-will state. As long as it's not actually discrimination, race, age, gender, etc., they can fire anyone for any reason. Thank you for clearing that up. Because I would have been like, is that legal? Well, he answered it for me. I told my manager at a fast food place that I was going to be looking for a new job and to not schedule me after this pay period. The next week, I see my name on the schedule and ask her what the deal is. I told you I was going to get a new job and not to schedule me. Well, did you get a new job yet? No, but I'm still not sticking around this one. But you know what? You can just not come back here now with that attitude. She sure showed me. I gave you my 2 weeks notice. Whether I had a job or not, I'm just telling you, I will not be coming here. I was fresh out of college at an IT contract to hire job. I came in on a Tuesday, sat down at my desk. The boss/owner came up behind me and told me I was fired. I sat there, mouth open, and then asked why. He said that I was not a good fit for the company and that I had to leave. So I gathered my things and he stood there watching me, probably making sure I did not steal anything, and escorted me out of the office. I found out later that because of the size of the company at the time, they were looking for a tier 3 worker, but I was a tier 1. I told them this in the interview, but apparently they did not have the resources to train me. Well, joke's on them. I went through a month of unemployment and I found an even better IT job where I make a lot of money and work only half as hard as that job. Blessing in disguise, baby. Not me, but I witness it. Oh, that's not a word. But I witness it. Oh my God. Am I okay? I witnessed it. Guy not only fired, but they had cops on site to escort him out. He was let go for a multitude of reasons. 1. Clocked in via phone, proceeds to show up 1 hour after his shift starts, then leaves hour early and clocks out via phone. New access codes to vending machines, so he was stealing change out of them. Not all of it, but enough for discrepancies to be noticed. Put paper towels on light bulbs in the bathroom. Stuffed paper towels down sink in break room, so he could be the hero who noticed the stuff prior to it causing a disaster. General disrespect to fellow employees and taking advantage of OT policies and not actually working the overtime. Well, he deserved it. Not surprised. Worked at a call center, telemarketing. Kudos to anyone who works that job. It was my grandmother's birthday. We didn't hit sales quota for the day. The boss told me I had to stay until we hit. I told him family was more important. Got fired immediately. Best decision ever. Well, yeah, do it for grandma. You don't know how many birthdays you've left with your grandma, okay? Just saying. I'm not trying to make it dark, but like, after graduating from grad school, I was having trouble finding jobs in my chosen career. Like everybody else. I ended up applying to retail jobs just to get income. I got hired at Old Navy. Went through training and even had 1 to 2 shifts. Then I got hired in my chosen career. Great. I went and told one of my managers, who was totally cool with it, understood, and even said I might be able to stay on part-time and help out during the holidays. Cool. Next shift, I have to tell the other manager that I got a new job. I just clocked in to start work, told this manager, and she tells me I can leave. I clock back out. Wasn't even allowed to work that shift. I barely knew her, but just from the short interactions I had with her, she seemed like a biatch. Yeah, like at that point, I barely know her, but like, do I want to get to know her? Probably not. Boss wanted me to work extra hours, travel in traffic and congestion, and do 14-hour long days for no extra pay or benefits. And I said, not sure I'm willing to do it. I need to think about it. Next day, pulls me into his private office and fires me, saying my skills were not at par, which is what they expected. Bye, effer! I now work in a place closer to home, so I don't have to travel as much or as long, earning more for doing less hours and less work. Sometimes the grass truly is greener on the other side. Losing a job can be so daunting, but sometimes, just sometimes, it's meant to happen for better things to come your way. I got fired from Borders because the person that was covering for me while I was on vacation got fired. What's even more messed up, I didn't even find out directly from them. Jose's girlfriend, she also worked there, texted me saying, hey, Jose got fired and you should probably call them because they have been expecting you. I called and the store manager was like, yes, you're terminated. You can come and pick up your last check. I didn't even bother arguing because I was gonna give my 2 weeks notice when I got back anyway because I was so sick of their BS. So someone covered you while you're on vacation, they get fired, which meant, oh, well, he's not coming in for his shift, so he's fired too. Okay. I was 15, I think. I was a lifeguard at a subdivision pool. Being the new guy and the young kid, I worked every weekend. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday day. I already had missed going to my grandparents a couple of times and my parents were taking vacation. I asked off and was told that I couldn't go. My dad basically said, you're going, I don't care. I told the boss this and she said, you still have to work. I left with my parents and when I got back, there were a dozen of messages on my parents' answering machine saying that they couldn't open the pool because I wasn't there. She fired me 3 or 4 times that weekend. She was a bored housewife hired by the HOA to schedule the lifeguards who were mostly high school kids. She fired another for wearing a bikini. They didn't use her the next year, but by that point in time, I was 16 and had a better job. I mean, at that age, giving up your weekends is so hard. Giving up your weekends at any age sucks. You know, I feel like at some point in all of our lives, we've worked weekends. I worked weekends. I worked bars, I worked retail. Oh my God, yeah. When I was a student, they scheduled you on weekends because during the week you're in school. So I would get like an evening shift, like a 3 to 7, 3 to 11 sometimes, and then weekends because you can't work during the week. At 19 years old, I was driving a forklift at a Coca-Cola bottling plant. It was a poo job with garbage hours and I hated every minute of it. That's the spirit. A few weeks after starting, I got a different job offer with a company down the street for a bit more money. So I just no-showed my current job and went there. Shame. But it ended up being so much worse than my first job and the workers so unfriendly that I just went for my lunch break the first day and never went back. Wow, I was such a terrible employee back then. Yeah, that's 2 jobs that you just ghosted. Anyways, I called my first job and told them the situation. They were cool about it and let me come back to drive my stupid forklift. Then a few weeks later, I no-showed again. You're the worst. Choosing instead to drive to the lake to get ridiculously drunk. Seriously, I won't get into the idiot details, but it was an absolute poo show of a night that I still regret. When I went back to work for my next scheduled shift, I was fired on the spot. Rightfully. I think after that, I worked on a sod farm for 2 days and then built a house with an old hippie carpenter. I'm happy that you're being honest with everything. And you know you deserved it. That's okay. We learned from this, right? All right, y'all. Make sure you tell me your juicy stories in the comments. I want to know them. I want to read them. I'm getting out of here. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. And I will see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. EST. Be there or be square.